One message in Manifold Approaches, a guide through the chapters.
The first chapter by University of Klagenfurt, Vienna, professor and volume co-editor Ralph Grossmann starts with an introduction and overview of the whole issue, ecological disasters and many symptoms of the global economic and ecological crises emphasize the importance of the issue of responsible leadership. Underlining the importance of organizations in our global society, Grossmann names 4 points to characterize this new mindset of leadership, which clearly indicate differences to traditional business models. 1. Managing the organization and its environments as a survival unit. This underscores definitely the difference to usual business thinking, focusing on the benefit of the own enterprise only, even at the costs of the environment and other stakeholders. 2. Social and organizational competence as key qualifications. Put cognitive knowledge and the teaching of tools behind, because only the social and organizational competence can in permanently changing and unexpected situations decide what kind of knowledge is needed and which tools could be helpful. 3. Using the company as a place for learning. This refers to the fact that leadership learning needs permanent tests through practicing, and therefore the organizations have to provide learning opportunities while doing their business. 4. Implementing business ethics as an organizing principle for companies. During recent years, ethics has become an issue in business schools, and in many cases it has been introduced as special discipline, added to the curriculum. Grossmann argues that ethics as an add-on will not change business practices and therefore has to be integrated into the logic of business practices and decisions. Marlies Lenlichner, as an experienced Austrian consultant and volume co-editor, and the German professor Gerald Thur as neurobiologist form a great team to argue for a deep learning of leadership competences. The combination of latest neurobiological research, supportive leadership and solution-oriented systemic approaches lead to a new understanding of leadership and deep learning. The findings of neuroscience, especially on the conditions necessary for the development of building new neural networks, strongly suggest that emotional levels of experience are a prerequisite for the real deep learning that combines cognition and emotion to create and reinforce new data highways in the brain. This in turn is the only learning that affects a new mindset with which leaders may succeed in achieving change by inspiring, involving others in order to create enthusiasm for new solutions. Quite a few examples illustrate the arguments. Chapter 2. The chapters 3 to 8 are dedicated to focus on management education in business schools for executives as well as for students. Charles Wankel, professor of management at St. John's University, New York, describes the necessity of transforming management education to include sustainability imperatives in an era where we have seen catastrophic environmental events with increasing frequency. His chapter includes several pedagogic suggestions for instructors to implement in providing the knowledge, awareness, and skills needed to produce the sustainability-sensitive managers the future needs. Barbara Lejock and Hubert Lobnig, both members of the Austrian Association of Group Dynamics and Organization Consulting, describe the concept and the practice of the Organization Laboratory, a 1-week-long training where a large group of participants gets involved in a reflected process of organizing itself as an organization. Participants build, reflect, and change the development of the whole social system and thus have to deal with the complexity of organizational processes. The OLAB is a promising setting to acquire organizational competence as it combines action, reflection and theory. Chapter 4. In Chapter 5, Maria Spindler presents 2 selected examples of Austrian master's programs, MBA, MSc of Organization Development, to argue and illustrate how the master's theses can combine the promotion of research and practitioners' knowledge. Following the principle of action research, the participants are challenged to write their theses about their own cases. 2 brief articles describe models of good practice of teaching students in MBA programs. Marina Apaden from Egypt shows how interactive learning is practiced at her university. The 3A approach as didactic model describes the steps of building awareness, training the skills of analysis and implementing conclusions through action. As a result of the course, the students, after having selected and analyzed a real case of a company or a public institution, propose their solutions to the client, quite often with success. Chapter 6. Chachai Chatpnyakup from Thailand uses the concept of problem-based learning at Manifold University, Bangkok. Students work on cases with computer simulation based on an interactive IT program that challenges competencies of analyzing and finding solutions. Learning begins with an understanding of the problem and its context. Solutions are discovered through practice. Through trial and error, participants reach decisions with minimal pressure, as bad decisions do not incur negative costs. Instead, risk-taking within a simulated world offers learning rewards. Chapter 7.